Good morning. Nice to have you here. This is R.N. Bhaskar from BKBB, an acronym for Bhaskar Ki Business Baatein, which this is a channel that comes to you with policy analysis, conversations, occasional business story every week. But right now, at 8:15 in the morning, we come to you with news behind the news. It's about few headlines that we think are important, which we analyze for you. And today my co-anchors are Katya. Welcome, Katya. It's good to have you here. And Anurag. Anurag, nice to see you also. Okay. Now, the headlines that we shall be discussing, what is happening on the India front, where India has been pushed by NATO and the US to stop purchases of oil from Russia. The second is about corporate earnings, how they've gone up. Whether they're justified or not, we'll see about it. And the third one is equally interesting, and that is about Chennai, the new real estate boom. Okay, now we go to the first story, but before I go to the first story, a couple of things. First, please click the subscribe button if you haven't clicked it already. Click the like button if you like this program. But most important, please tell all your friends about us. It helps us grow, and we want to grow. And now let's take the key stories that we want to talk about. One of the key stories is about how USA and NATO are actually muscling in on India. And we've taken three headlines, and the three headlines are all on the same subject. The first is NATO's threat. Remember, it's not Trump threatening. Trump had suggested 500%. I'm thinking of. But now NATO is coming to the picture directly. And NATO is telling India that the US will levy 100% tariff if it does not stop purchasing oil from Russia. Look at the chart next to you. On the chart on the right-hand side is a chart that shows in the red color how imports from Russia have kept on climbing. Also remember that in a move to assuage the US, India even cut back its oil imports in the Middle East and instead started importing oil from the US. You can see the US imports in the blue color there. But the US is not satisfied. Not only does it want India to purchase oil from the US because US has huge quantities of oil now, it also wants to make sure that India does not purchase oil from the US, from Russia. Yesterday we talked about how India had made itself vulnerable. Its exports have fallen. The only exports that have gone up are the exports to USA. So India has exposed itself to the US, one, in committing itself to a variety of things, including purchase of oil. B, by not growing other export markets. And now America says, we will impose 100% tariffs on you if you do not stop importing oil from Russia. China has been threatened similarly, and so has Brazil. The least bothered is China, because China will continue imports from Russia because it has a direct pipeline, not one, but three coming into China. As far as exports are concerned, the US cannot ban exports cannot put a tariff on China because China will stop rare earths immediately and America will not be able to do anything. Brazil also seems to have more muscle and more spine than India. So what will India do? I don't know. Will it hem itself and become a vassal of America? Let's watch and see. Thank you. Let's go to the second story. And the second story is an interesting one from Anurag. Anurag, could we have you?
Good morning. At first glance, India Inc.'s numbers look great on paper. Despite revenue growth slowing, profit margins have surged, especially since the pandemic. Excluding BFSI, oil and gas, and IT companies, the average profit before tax margin of listed companies have jumped from 7.8 in financial year of 2015 to 12% in the financial year of 2025. In the same decade, net profit margins almost doubled from 5% to 8.8%. So, what's really driving these record margins, even while sales growth is on the low? The answer is market concentration. In sector after sector, from aviation and cement to telecom and steel, a handful of large players now dominate, reflected in the Herfindahl Hirschman Index, also known as HHI, which is climbing to all time highs. The average HHI of these sectors soared from 1980, a decade ago, to now 2532 in the financial year of 2025. These levels considered highly concentrated in the US standards. By US standards, only paints and two-wheelers saw a dip in concentration. So, what has changed? Analysts point out that to a decade of regulatory shocks and economic reforms, GST, demonetization, insolvency codes, and the pandemic that knocked out weaker rivals but gave bigger companies room to consolidate. That muscle has allowed them to set prices with little competitive constraint, translating directly into higher profits. And it's not just a temporary margins. Even as revenue growth has slowed to 7.6% in recent years, net profits has been rising to nearly 19% annually. Analysts expect this gap to widen further in the upcoming financial year, with margins likely to touch new highs. What's the real story behind this? India's profit boom is powered not just by growth, but by an era of corporate dominance, signaling both opportunity and caution for years ahead. What's your take on this, sir?
It's a very exciting piece of news, but I have my doubts. And my doubts are because of three reasons. Consumer growth has not taken place. Consumer demand remains muted. There's a cost push in the economy. Everything is more expensive. So companies are trying to absorb as much of the cost as possible. And the third problem is a sluggish economic growth. When you have all the three together, margins cannot grow that sharply except for one sector, and that is infrastructure, where the government is the largest spender and the largest consumer. So it's a virtuous cycle where the government spends, corporates earn, and they produce more, and the government creates more projects. That sector could continue growing, but the rest of the sectors could actually see a lot of pressure in the coming days and months. But thanks, very exciting story. I wish it were true. And now let's go to the third story, and that's Katya. Katya, could we have you?
Hello, sir. The infrastructure to real estate, as usual. So, there's something interesting which is happening in the real estate market. Obviously, we've seen 3 years of very good bull run. So now we are at the mid of the upcycle where sales on top 8 cities have actually been tapering down. They're either going in low single digits or some have even fallen on a YOY basis. But the only exception is Chennai. So Chennai in Q1 had registered, 11% growth in sales, and more importantly, its launches have swelled by 67.5%, which means the sales are going to grow better for the coming months as well, is what the expectations is. And you know what has triggered it? There are many triggers, but the trigger has come from commercial leasing. Commercial leasing has been going up exponentially. You know. It's grown 57% and 67% is how many new offices, grade A office stock is being added. And all this is because there's one big push in, that is GCCs. A lot of GCCs are growing. We know the GCC growth story. And a lot of it is concentrating in Chennai and around. But that is not the only story. Chennai already has an existing industrial base of manufacturing, which is also growing. And then, of course, there is the IT sector as well. So it is GCC is a layer on top of it. But experts also tell another story. They said while the bull run was happening in every other market, Chennai grew a little slowly than the others, which means the bull run is just simply catching up. Also, new infrastructure is adding new interesting suburbs. So, especially around IT corridors, etc., and premium real estate is picking up. So, actually, if you look at it, Chennai real estate growth might be a year later. So, it is not in the mid of the upcycle; it is still on the upcycle area. So, isn't that interesting, sir?
Chennai, as you rightly pointed out, was one of the most muted markets and property prices did not go up significantly.
Right.
But while the market is growing and people are coming up, I mean, demand is growing because of commercial markets there in Chennai. I don't expect the bull run to be as rapid as it was in Bangalore or in Hyderabad for one simple reason. The Tamil Nadu government has decentralized growth areas across the state. So effectively, you'll have new housing, new roads, new opportunities in other cities as well. So it'll be dispersed. It's good for Tamil Nadu because you don't make property prices unaffordable,
Mm.
but it may not be very good news for real estate dealers and brokers.
But
But yes,
these high earners are entering the system, sir. And
yes, you
Chennai,
are.
if you remember, has always been a very traditional market in terms of pricing. That
Yes,
seems to be altering a little. It was
it is altering a little. And the fact you're right about that, lots of uh, Tamilians from Chennai are overseas NRIs. They want to come back and build their homes here.
right.
Let's see. But yes, interesting news. Thanks. And that gets me to the third part of this section, and that is answering questions and comment and looking at comments that have come in. The first comment is India compromising its sovereign country status? It has already compromised itself. When Prime Minister Modi met Trump immediately after he became president, he agreed to buy F-35s, even though they had failed in war theaters in the recent past. One of the F-35s was landed in Kerala and was still landed and could not even go back. It agreed to boost trade, even though America has nothing to offer to India. And America is not coming in as an investor, it's coming in as a trader. It wants India to buy more and more and more. And now it's threatening India. And India, unfortunately, has not been wise to create new markets. It is only focused on the US and EU. So yes, we have compromised ourselves. Another question. Is the Tamil Nadu, is the Chennai real estate boom sustainable? I think it is. Katya, your views?
According to me, it will sustain. Like I said, sir, we are everybody else. We are in the middle of the upcycle. They are just going up, and the fact that new supply is coming, apartment culture, premium home culture is picking up. There are enough HNIs, like you pointed out, NRIs, HNIs also are there, are showing interest. So the culture is changing. So it will pick up. It will grow a year. What it was a year in Bangalore and Pune, we'll see now in Chennai. So we can expect at least 1 year.
In fact, Katya, there's one more thing, one more reason that I just discovered. And that is with America getting shaky and almost all of Silicon Valley being Tamilians,
Right. Exactly.
they want to come back and they could put some money. And they are very traditional people. They want to come back to Tamil Nadu.
Only.
And
Yes.
so,
Yeah. Why
yes,
not?
that's another reason that I just remembered. Thanks.
See.
Thanks. And there's another question. NATO is supporting Ukraine in the war. Then why, sorry, Ukraine in the war, and why are India and China supporting Russia? India has tried to support Russia. China has made it clear. It's with Russia, it's with Iran. Russia has made it clear. It's with China and with Iran. India is still unsure. It's sitting on the fence. But India is getting fatter and fatter with the promise of a 5 trillion economy. When you're fat, you can't sit on the fence. You have to fall this side or the other. And let's see. But yes, it's interesting. And there's another question. If the corporate profits are going up, should we expect even the stock markets to go up? Look, I don't predict about the stock markets, but if corporate profits go up, all I can say is that stock markets may not go down, with the FIs going up after the Jane Street episode, the markets will be a dampener. If corporate profits actually go up, let's see. The markets could go up, but I'm not into speculation. I'm not going to predict what tomorrow's prices are. Anyway, that finishes our sessions for today. I look forward to seeing you once again tomorrow morning. And in the meantime, do have a wonderful day today. See you tomorrow. Look forward to it. Take care.